Hello, Shining Gems. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sapphire, and this week we're talking about EDS. Now, some of you may be wondering, well, Sapphire, what's EDS? Is that so like EDM or a weird thing? It is a weird thing. It's a syndrome. It's called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. There are several different subtypes. It's a genetic connective tissue disorder. And it is super important to me because my BFF, Rogue Zebra here on YouTube, has EDS. And I decided to show my support via my art. And there's this misconception that because this is a genetic disorder, that everyone who has it has a specific look. So I decided to combat that with a style challenge. So I took some art styles that I enjoy and are near and dear to my heart, and I drew some of the people that I know of that have EDS. Now, this is a very debilitating disorder, and it can cause you to dislocate your joints. It can cause arteries to rupture, organs to rupture. It can cause very difficult pregnancies for women, and chronic pain, and a lot of other comorbidities like postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is basically like when you stand up, your blood pressure skyrockets, I think, or it goes down. One of them. It either is too low or too high, and your heart rate gets too high and causes you to faint or feel dizzy. And there's also gastroparesis, which is paralysis of your gastrointestinal tract. Can cause a lot of problems, and when severe enough, you'll have to use a feeding tube to get all of your nutrition. And these people right here, these lovely, wonderful people who I have depicted in art styles, were lovely enough to allow me to use them for my art. And the first person that I actually knew of who had EDS was a YouTuber who lives in Japan. Her name is Martina. She is the other half of Simon and Martina. They're pretty big. They have over 1 million subscribers. And she pretty much made the phrase build a ladder. And I live by that every day as another person who suffers from a chronic illness. Although compared to these wonderful people who have been diagnosed, I unfortunately continue to be undiagnosed. But this video is not about me. This is about the people who suffer every day with multiple dislocations or subluxing and have to have this debilitating genetic mutation, and they still go through life, and I admire them a lot. This one over here, one that I did in the Pixar style, is my best friend. We call each other our wives. I do her channel art. She's amazing and one of the most strong people I have ever met. And I don't think without her I would be who I am today. So this video is in dedication of my zebra friend, And then this lovely lady who I did in my style, she has a YouTube channel, and this is actually a collab with her for EDS Awareness Month. And her channel is the Wellness LLC. Her channel will be down in the description, as well as Jennifer's. So, let's get into each individual, because each individual is unique and wonderful and amazing. Now that I've talked a little bit about EDS. So, let's get started with Martina, the first person who really exposed me to EDS. She lives in Japan, and she's wonderful and adorable and has an amazing cat who I would love to pet. They very recently lost their dog, Spudgy. Also, I love the way that they name their animals. Martina is someone that I look up to and I would love to meet someday, but if it doesn't happen, that's fine too. She has inspired so many people with chronic illness and mental illness to be the best versions of themselves, and if that means that today you need to be in bed, then that's fine. You do you. Do as much as you can. So I just draw her in the Ghibli style. Not only is Ghibli one of my the people who brought Ghibli movies to life are the ones who inspired me to be an artist. So I thought it only fitting to draw the person who inspires me in the Ghibli fashion. What I learned from this particular style is that you can really play with proportions and line widths and shading and still have this fun, unique style. And I love that the way that Ghibli Studio does backgrounds. I love that it's more painterly and kind of realistic and surreal at the same time, and it's an amazing contrast with their more simplistic animated characters. So what I'd like to say to Martina is thank you for allowing me to learn about myself, you, and EDS, because you are one of the reasons why I even discovered EDS for my best friend. Moving on is Lavender Style. She is a YouTube artist who does amazing work, and her style is so unique, and the way that she does line art is amazing for me because it's not polished, it's textured, it's amazing and simple, and it looks so unique. I don't know how else to explain it, but I really like that she's one of a more recognized artist, and she has these lines that aren't smooth. And that's amazing for me because I can't always control my hand enough to get the smooth line art that I really wanted. And she has taught me that it is okay to not have that smooth art. It's okay to be a little rough around the edges. And this is a portraiture of an artist who has EDS. She is the girlfriend of one of the sons. I don't remember her name, or any of the sons' names. So as I'm going along on the screen, there will be their names somewhere. And the reason why I'm doing it this way instead of just showing you a time lapse of painting is because my footage corrupted 2.5 minutes into me coloring in Martina. So you're just gonna get me talking at you a bunch. And moving on is son number 1. And I decided to do him in the shonen anime that is really challenging what a modern shonen anime should look like. And that is Boku no Hero Academia. I love the show, big fan. The reason why I chose this style for this son is because he wants to be a voice actor, and I only assume that it's because he loves anime. I'm only assuming, but I find voice acting an awesome career path, and I thought about doing it for a little while. But what I learned from this style is that Deku has 8 freckles. What? Why do you only have 8 freckles? But also, like, red ties. It's the only type of tie that exists. And I did think about doing more of like a present mic look for this son, because present mic has a quirk that projects his voice. So I kind of thought about that, but ultimately I decided that Deku would be the better option for this son. Simply because his style is so round and just he's just a round boy. And I don't necessarily do round. So I thought it would be a more interesting challenge for me to make a plain looking person in BNHA style. And moving on. Now, this is one of my favorite art YouTubers. She goes by Danica Style. Her line work is so smooth and so clean, and she does different medias. She does digital sometimes, and she does watercolor and gouache, and her art is so beautiful and grungy, and the way that she does hair is so amazing. And of course, the person that I'm modeling this after is the daughter of the person that I did in my style. And she requested that I draw her with elf ears, so I did. And it was a lot of fun. This one, I think, compared to Danica's coloring, is the most different, because I just couldn't figure out how to do it properly. But I think out of all of the styles, I liked this one the most. To do the inking, I had to be at my best, obviously, to get all of these lines. And I really like the way she does hair, so I want to try and do something like this in the future and try it out with my style, because my style is still trying to get figured out. but I like this elf. She's good, and I hope that the person who I drew in this style likes it, because I love it. Even if it's not exactly Danica's style. And then the next one is pretty straightforward. He is in Pokemon style. Obviously after Brock, so that I could just hold shift a bunch. I just did a shifty boy and colored it in. It's one of the more simpler ones to make. But it still had its merits, so I get to see how finished and polished such a simple style can look like. And, you know, for someone who wants to do graphic novels and webcomics at some point in the future, it was really good for me to learn all of that now. So I thank you, other son. And I'm not exactly I don't remember exactly what he wanted to be, but it was something smart. It just sounded like he suited Brock. Oh, he was into video games. That's why I chose Pokemon. Now, this one was the easiest style to do, and I didn't know that at the time because I love Gravity Falls and it looks beautiful, and there's no shading. I didn't know that. If I still had my original footage, you would see me just being like filling in the colors and being like, okay, is that it? And checking my references, and it's like, am I done? Did I do it? Is it done? Anyway. This son is the one that is dating Lavender Town. And I decided to go with a dipper because from what he was described as, he was kind of like a fixer and I can do anything type of guy. So I immediately thought of Dipper Pines, because as one does. But I really like this style. It's very round, and very simplistic, which I appreciated. Alright, and here is Mama, also known as The Wellness LLC. And I chose to do her in my style. This style is more simplistic than my normal stuff. Because I am trying to develop both a painterly style and more of a something I can crank out and do multiple panels of. And so this might not be my finalized simple style, but I like it. And she is very ambitious and so amazing, and she speaks out about problems, and she's on Facebook. She's currently talking about making an app for people with chronic illnesses to document all of their medications and their doctor's visits, and catalog their physical therapy exercises, and it's kind of like an all-encompassing thing that every chronically ill patient needs. And I support it 110%, and she is amazing and wonderful, and I had an absolute blast getting to know her. She's so kind and wonderful, and when I was in the hospital, she understood, and she was like, take your time, you know, we're not going to be doing the posting the collab until the end of the month, which I really appreciated and needed. So I decided to draw her in my style, and I took Lavender Town's more sketchy and, well, not sketchy and non-refined, kind of messy line art approach, which is a lifesaver on my wrist. So this is Mama Bear. She is mom to the sons and daughter, and she's amazing and wonderful and a beautiful human being. And this is one of her grandmothers. She gave me some black and white photos, so I don't know their hair color or eye color. I just kind of decided what I wanted them to be, which I appreciate her letting me do. And she gave me wedding photos. So I decided to base this one off of old school Disney, specifically Belle, because she had the, in the picture, she has this short, floofy hair, and I decided that the shape of the hair that Belle has was good to do. And I really appreciate everyone with round glasses. That makes my life a lot easier. And the way that Mama Bear Wellness LLC, or Wellness Space LLC, figured out that these two wonderful older generation women had EDS is because she actually has become an expert in EDS, as one should be when you have it. And this is the other grandma, who I did in another art YouTuber's style. Her name is Drawing with Waffles, and she is so funny and amazing and down to earth. And I know that she has, she struggles with illness as well. She hasn't told her audience exactly what it is, and everyone's really respectful of that and amazing. And I think out of all of the styles that I have accomplished in this video, this one was the hardest, because I don't I don't understand how she paints digitally. And that's okay. You know, that's okay. It's just so unique and interesting and kind of messy and unrefined, but also super refined, and I just... kudos to you, girl. You're amazing. You deal with chronic illness and you pump out videos, and that's amazing. I want to be you. But this is the other grandmother in Drawing with Waffles style. The curls were super fun. And again, it was another wedding photo. And last but not least is my wife, a rogue zebra here on YouTube, and she specifically requested that I do Pixar Brave style. And I think out of all of the styles I did, because Pixar has this more realistic textures, this one took the longest. And it was the most fun to paint. The hair was lovely and wonderful and close to what I do for my more painterly style. I learned a lot, especially about how to do more realistic eyes, or how to paint them. Not that these are realistic in any way, shape, or form. And then I threw in a bowsy back here. Not that I think Jennifer would wear a bow, but I thought it was a good thing to break up the hair. And there's my girl's little piercing, whom I love. And for some reason, I just decided to put like this disgusted, like curve to her lip. I don't know why. That's just what my brain spoke to me that day. And my girl is like disgusted with the world. I don't know why, but I love her anyway. So, if you have questions about what EDS is, or if I've missed something about EDS, there will be a link in the description below to the EDS Society for you to learn more facts. And if you think that you have EDS, go ahead and contact me, or contact the society, or anyone else that I've linked in the description. They're all good resources, and I actually helped my friend Jennifer get diagnosed with EDS, so mostly because I was looking at it for myself, thinking maybe vascular EDS was causing some of my neurological problems, but I don't have any of the hallmark symptoms like stretchy skin or randomly dislocating things. And by the way that I found out that Jennifer had EDS was, I was like, hey, can you stretch your skin? And she's like, no, not really. And then like pulled her skin away from her muscle like 4 inches. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. And it's hilarious because she's like, no, this is normal for everyone. Everyone can stretch their skin that much. I'm like, girl, no. Girl, no. But if you guys have any questions, or if you like my content, please drop a like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. That would be amazing. And I love your faces. I love your art. And go ahead and tag me in art that you want to show off to me. And to all of my friends out there who have EDS, I feel for you. I feel for you. That is a big oof, sis. Love you guys. And remember to keep on drawing, no matter how hard your body wants to fight you.